Hello everyone, today I'm going to be talking about the Council of Glades trademark that may or may not be referring to the next WoW expansion that is heavily speculated to be announced on the 5th of August at Gamescom. I don't think this is it, just to be straight up about that, but I do think it gives us a fun opportunity to talk about possible lore and bounce around some ideas. So first of all, I'll talk about the actual trademark stuff, air quotes. The trademark filing is in New Zealand, and it mostly seems to check out. It was registered on the 26th of July, and it's for an online game. I've seen people say that the customer reference number on it, though, is the same as the Warlords of Draenor filing, and that it should actually be different, which does suggest that this is a fake. However, I've also seen people say that you can change your customer number via a form on the trademark site, so it's hard to know what to make of that. Now, the trademark is submitted and held, but it's not in the public database yet. Apparently you can pay to accelerate that process, and I'd imagine that if Blizzard was doing this, they probably would be using the Express service to give them control over when this actually makes it into the public database. But there is evidence to both support that this could be a thing, and also lots of evidence to support that it may not be a thing. It's hard to draw a firm conclusion at this stage. Unrelated to this, someone also managed to get to the login screen of the beta servers, which have recently came up, though that itself doesn't really mean a great deal, though apparently the version number is 7.0. Now this could be faked, but many think it's legit, and there aren't any telltale signs of photoshopping on the evidence the person submitted. Still though, to I think poke fun and also prove a point, Chod, who appears to run MMO Champion, posted a screenshot of version 7.8.9, pretty much, showing that it's actually very easy to fake that stuff. And from roughly what I know of the WoW client, I'd imagine that stuff is pretty easy to fake or trick, so I don't know if any of this necessarily means a great deal. And also, MMO Champion have not posted this on the front page, with the exception of the Dark Below, which, to be fair, was an expansion to another Activision Blizzard online massively-ish multiplayer title. They generally do like a front page post, though, on what they believe to be a true trademark, and they have been pretty much right all the time. They haven't done that yet, which suggests that people who are generally very in the know don't think this is a thing. So overall, I'm going to give this one a bit of a nope, but the lore is fun, so let's just jump into that. And it's also some lore that I think quite a lot of people may not have heard of, because some of it has actually been in the comics. Now, if you actually look at the name, it is Council of Glades. This is, I think, referring to two things: the Council of Tirisfal and the Tirisfal Glades. Honestly, that's a stupid name. Come on, don't be silly. Now, the Council of Tirisfal was a council of powerful mages who would imbue all of their power into a single person who was known as the Guardian of Tirisfal. The Guardian's job was to defend the planet from the Burning Legion and associated nasties. They wielded a legendary staff called Atiesh, or Atish, whatever, and yeah, pretty nice staff. Now, the best known Guardians are Egwene and Medivh, who is her son. But eventually, with all those events with Medivh and the Warcraft games, the council was disbanded, and Medivh was, in fact, the last guardian of that kind of first line. But sometime later, Jaina, Egwene, and Marill Winterstorm, I believe, reformed the council to fend off Cho'Gall's shenanigans. This happened roughly during the Wrath of the Lich King period. During this council, Madan was the guardian. However, this council is only really covered by the comics, and Madan is a little bit strange because despite being such a stupidly powerful character, I mean, he can be a full mage and a full shaman and have ridiculous powers, we haven't actually heard from him or seen any evidence on him, of him in the games. He's just been relegated to Expanded Universe. He also has a bit of Superman syndrome, in that Blizzard have made him so powerful that in many ways he doesn't make a great character. And what's even more odd is that Khadgar is the current wielder of Atish. If Madan was the Guardian, then surely he would have his own bloody staff. So a lot of players have assumed that Madan has just been retconned out of the game, and with Khadgar using Atish, it would seem that that's the case. I think Madan is just one of those characters they can gloss over and never reference, and honestly, no one will be the worse for it, because he wasn't that great. And I've seen a lot of big lore buff people, and people who are really into this universe, sort of have similar thoughts on the case of Madan, so that does seem likely. Now, there's also a fan theory that Khadgar is actually Medivh in disguise, which is sort of interesting. I'm not too sure what to say about it. I think it sounds unlikely in terms of where Blizzard would take things. They're certainly building Khadgar up to be kind of one of those like good sort of heroic friendly characters, and I don't think Blizzard are the kind of people who would do that sort of flip. Now, there was a Medivh-like figure in the background of some of the Shadow Council cutscenes in the Warlords of Draenor Alpha, but that was never expanded upon, and we never really heard from it again, so that might just be an abandoned plot thread. So anyway, back to the expansion. If it was a thing, it would probably be about a new Council of Tirisfal, maybe a reformation of the one that appeared in the comics. You'd probably see lots of high-up mages, and then also shamans, paladins, and druids, because the new council, as in the one from the comics, decided to get more magic stuff in rather than just traditional mages. They wanted, like, Murad and Bull and Bearmantle and various people to join them as well. So the threat that the Guardian was tasked in fighting was the Burning Legion mainly, but that does also extend to old gods and their minions, as we saw in the comics. Basically, they're meant to be Azeroth's big protector against scary things that are scary and mean. And it would seem that if the expansion was about them, then you could do anything. Anything could attack you. The South Seas could happen, a shower could happen, the South could happen, Burning Legion invasion, I don't know, invasion of burning corgis, any of that could happen, and it would still fit within the theme of the Guardian stuff like happening again. However, if they do an expansion that is like a South Seas one or Burning Legion one, would they call it Council of Glades? No, they wouldn't. Not only do I think it's a pretty terrible and unmarketable name, well, if you were doing a Legion or South Seas-based expansion, you would probably come up with a name that's far better and actually communicates the threat of that expansion. The Burning Crusade, Wrath of the Lich King, the Cataclysm, Warlords of Draenor, despite the fact half of them kind of died before they really did anything. And Mists of Pandaria didn't really refer specifically to a threat, but the main danger of it was sort of what rose out of all of our factions finding out what lay beyond the mists. So I don't think this whole Guardian of the Glaives, Glaive Guardians, what's it called again? Council of Glade, that's it. Glades. I don't think it's a thing, but I wouldn't mind seeing some of that lore. And another thing is that Tirisfal Glades is in Lordaeron, and there's a lot of stuff that is unresolved in Lordaeron. We don't really know what happened with the undead and their sort of invasion of Gilneas, and that is a plot thread that a lot of players care a great deal about. There's also stuff going on about Sylvanas and that sort of Lich Queen thing where she sort of wants to raise new people to sort of propagate the Forsaken and make them actually last as a group of people rather than just the, oh yeah, we're dead and once we're gone, that's the end of our, like, species, race, whatever the hell they might be. I don't really think traditional classifications have much of a place for undead things currently, but there is a lot of lore that could happen in Northern Lordaeron. Perhaps there's a way of getting that into an expansion somehow, I don't really know, but also perhaps it might be the sort of thing that would happen in a Warcraft 4, should that actually be a thing. It's hard to know, but certainly there are a lot of little plot lines here that I would like to see resolved or visited in a way that involves the actual game, so not a book or not a comic. For some reason in the original recording, I completely forgot to mention the crazy stuff that could be underneath Tirisfal Glades. Now, there's heavily rumored to be something there. A Blizzard poster said that it wasn't an old god, but it could be something that they are in control of. It could actually be an old god, they could go back on their word, of course. And there's also that strange Fey Dragon ring, which I've been showing you in this video. No one really knows what that's for. There's definitely plot and just sort of little hooks that they have dropped in and around Tirisfal Glades. I believe it's also Tirisfal where maybe this was a thing in the past, or maybe it wasn't Tirisfal, but anyway, you would turn all of your in-game sound effects bar 1 down to 0, then if you blasted up your speaker volume, you would hear a beating heart and the rattling of chains, which was quite the hint at something. Anyway, that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed the sort of lore chat of this video. I know the rest was really just me saying, lol, no, I don't think this is right, but hey, best we can do. Oh, and editing might be a little bit lax on this video. That's because I've been traveling home in the train all day and I'm not using my regular rig, so all those cool, like, After Effects stuff, it's a lot more tricky to do on this sort of weaker computer and don't really have the time. But anyway, that's all a load of fluff. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what your thoughts are, specifically what kind of expansion would you like to see, if it is indeed announced on the 5th of August, And yeah, I suppose I'll talk to you next time.